Hey YouTube, this is The Art of Prepping. Just want to share some of the mistakes that I make throughout the years gardening and just trying to get a handle on how to do all this. Last year I had a really good bounty of various peppers. I love sweet peppers and even bell peppers, and so I was trying to, just to go ahead and continue that tradition as I have for years. Now the problem is though on the back side of my greenhouse, it didn't get a lot of sun for whatever reason. I think there was plants that were overshadowing it, and they were blocking the sunlight. So these are some plants that I just had a transplant out of other smaller containers, and I just put them in here temporarily until they can get themselves going again, and give them some full sunlight. These are some bell pepper plants, and we'll see how this goes. These plants though, they're fairly sensitive, but this time last year they were already about 3 times as large. And they actually even had some little peppers coming off of them. So I think the problem here is that they just didn't get enough sunlight. So just remind yourself that to always, in some of these plants you need to rotate and be vigilant, because for several months now I just kind of neglected these. I saw that they weren't really growing, but I was like, maybe they just needed a little more time. But they're healthy little plants. It's just that they just needed more sunlight. Now, I also sometimes overplant in a pot. And so I had to thin out some of the pepper plants in this. I have some over here, see if you can see it better, cantaloupe. And I actually have a little cantaloupe right here. You can see he's starting to form. And so cantaloupes are doing pretty well in the greenhouse, and I just moved this one out. Unfortunately though, I did rip right here, this long stem, which is over here. And I just shoved that in there. I don't think it's going to take. I don't think it's going to, form any roots. But I felt bad about that because it's probably a 3-foot stem, or vine coming off of there. And so you live and learn. My greenhouse is very congested. I totally overplanted. I probably did about 3 times as much as I should have. And when you do that, you stunt the growth of a lot of plants because they're all fighting for the nutrients in the soil. I have a habit of doing that. So just be careful not to overplant, and give some room for the plants to breathe and grow. And even this probably is overkill. But I'm going to let them kind of get a little bit more stabilized and a little bit more, durable, if you will, and grow maybe a few more inches, and then give them their own pot. So just a quick tip, just things that I've learned over the years. Just mistakes that I make. So I wish you all well in your gardening. It's important to have a source of gardening. I will be honest with you, I like to do more seed sprouts than gardening, but I do maintain a small amount of things growing, most of the year. And I may not always be successful, just like any farmer or any kind of gardener, but at least you try, and more times than not, you will get some harvest. I just had a friend recently send me a nice picture, several pictures of his, I think it was his watermelon, and they're just monstrous. And he actually lives in an actual city, in an actual, pretty well populated urban area. And if he can do it, we can all do it. We can just need to focus on our priorities and maintain, what we have growing. Just take care of it. You got to water it, give it some nutrients, make sure it has sun, and protect it against, animals. That's why I liked having these in the greenhouse, because I had no problems with pests. Ever since I've had the greenhouse. The last few years though, when I didn't put things in the greenhouse, or even before I didn't have a greenhouse, everything from worms or just animals like to chew on things, especially deer and other problems and other pesky things. So anyways, you guys take care, and don't be afraid to keep trying until you figure things out. Later.